Welcome back to Do the God Debut. I'm Mal, tangent follower and longtime Percy Jackson fan.
And I'm Julie, Percy Jackson newbie, and big fan of the evil espresso drinks.
Incredible.
This is so fun.
That's that me espresso,
Yeah.
one might
Yeah.
say. What a good time. And this is a podcast about Julie reading The Lost Hero for the first time. And this time we've got chapters 16 through 20. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say at the top, so I guess it's just time to get right into it. So chapter 16 is a Piper chapter.
Yeah.
And I'm a little angry because this is such a short chapter. We get like 5 pages of Piper and then 35 pages of boy.
No.
This is not a fair trade.
No. Not passing the Bechdel Test this section.
Well, actually,
I actually don't have a great conception of the Bechdel Test, so.
like, does Piper talk to Keaney about something that's not Jason? Maybe?
I don't remember.
Or that's not her father? I don't know. Well,
But
we'll
I
have
mean,
to
it
check
kind of
that when
all
we get there.
revolves around her father, does it not? That's the whole reason
It
they're
does,
there.
yeah. We're not passing the Bechdel test. Maybe if Rick Riordan would let 2 girls go on a quest together.
Yeah. Give me Annabeth and Piper. Annabeth and Selena would have been so good.
Yes. Ugh.
I'm gonna write the fic. I want it.
It would have been too convenient of a questing group, and there would have been no detours, and if Annabeth had another girl to back her up, it would have been another girl who was not Rachel, because for a period of time we did have the Rachel, Annabeth, Percy.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. Selena would have worked.
Yes.
Anyway, so our glorious 5 pages of Piper. They're also just, it's kind of a nothing chapter as well, because where we left off, Leo had just rolled up on Festus, or I guess flew up on Festus. And so he yells, "Don't kill me," and the campers lower their weapons, and Piper describes the dragon as, quote, "glistening in the morning sun like a living penny sculpture, different shades of copper and bronze, a 60-foot-long serpent with steel talons and drill bit teeth and glowing ruby eyes. It had bat-shaped wings twice its length that unfurled like metallic sails, making a sound like coins cascading out of a slot machine every time they flap."
Kind of beautiful.
And so I have a couple things here, naturally.
Mm-hmm.
First, the use of the word serpent is interesting. Because, like, what do you think when you hear serpent?
I think of snake.
Same. I don't think lizard. But Festus has legs. So I don't know that serpent is the correct word here. Like, you could call it a reptilian beast or something. Like, serpent is...
It gives snake.
Yeah. It's giving snake. The other thing is her comparing the sound to the sound of coins cascading out of a slot machine. Like, incredibly specific and also very loud.
Yeah. Like, obnoxiously loud.
This dragon will not be going anywhere stealthily.
No.
That's gotta be... And, like, I did look up a sound of, like, coins in a, what's it called? A slot machine, because I needed a reference for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a couple, but then I also got on this, like, rabbit hole of SFX sounds on, like, a free SFX website.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had all sorts of things, like... coin dropped on linoleum, coin dropped on wood, coin dropped in a jar, in a tin, in the dirt, etc., etc. But I did find one, and I'm going to play it, and I hope that you can hear it, because it just, I can't explain why, but it just made me really happy, and it was a coin dropped in a puddle. Hold on, there's so many on here. Like, here's a coin dropping in a tin.
Nice.
Here's the coin dropping in the puddle.
It's like a little chirp.
It's the most satisfying little, like,
Yeah.
I can't explain it, but I'm obsessed.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you ever heard a cardinal chirp?
I don't know if I have.
It sounds like water dripping out of a faucet. That's what that reminds me of.
Now I'm like, what does a cardinal chirping sound like?
It's singing. Yeah, it kind of sounds like that. It sounds more like water to me. At least the ones around here. I wonder if there's a difference between the male chirping and the female chirping.
That does kind of sound like the coin dropped in the puddle. I also, when I was doing this, I found a video that was like coins dropping 1 hour. Like, it's an hour of just coin sounds. Like, it's just coins for an hour.
Like, is that something someone wants to fall asleep to? Like, I don't get it. It's so loud.
No, I'm like, who is this for? Scrooge McDuck? But this is what I'm imagining, like, Piper describing. This is what coins falling from a slot machine, I guess, sounds like. Maybe a little faster than this, but, like, coins.
Yeah. Very loud.
Loud and kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, enough with the coins. Anyway, so Piper says that the dragon is beautiful, and the rest of the campers kind of look at her like she's crazy. And I'm sorry, I just don't believe that Piper would be the only camper who thinks the dragon is cool. Like, it's a giant metal dragon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was flying.
Yeah, you can't tell me she's the only one who's into dragons.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't buy it.
I mean, then again, the dragon has been terrorizing the camp for a while,
That's
so
fair, I guess.
maybe it's like this specific dragon that people are wearing. I don't know. I just think I would be impressed. So, Leo, who has just arrived on the back of this dragon, looks like he's been rolling around in a campfire, and he is covered in grease and grime. And Piper also says that his hair is so oily it sticks up like porcupine quills. This is quite a look. And also, the thing that gets me, it doesn't seem like Leo has a chance to clean up at all.
Yeah, he's just sticky.
Because Jason and Annabeth run up, and Leo kind of explains, this is the ride that I found. And he avoids some of the questions that Nyssa asks about, like, where the wings came from and how he survived the fire breath, because, you know, he wants to be vague about those things. And he explains that the dragon is mostly repaired, but it's got a few kinks to work out, and also he's named it Festus. And Jason points out means happy, so they're gonna fly off to save the world on Happy the Dragon.
Love.
Incredible. Leo says, he picked up some supplies in the woods, and so they should probably get going. And Annabeth agrees. When is he showering?
Need to know. He needs to get the oil out of his hair.
Yes. And Piper says Annabeth looks kind of wistful, like she's remembering better times. And this made me think that of the quartet that was involved in the initial finding and reactivating of this bronze dragon, like the initial bronze dragon adventure, Annabeth is the only one that's left. Like, Beckendorf and Selena are dead.
Stop.
Percy is not dead, we hope, but he's at least missing.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
It's just Annabeth. The horrors need to leave my girl alone. She's been through enough. That's what I have to say.
She just have a minute. God.
Then they leave on their quest, with Leo still covered in grease. And also, he didn't sleep last night.
And he's flying the dragon.
Yes! I know that we've talked before about the kids getting, like, stinky and dirty on their quests, but Leo is starting the quest stinky and dirty.
Ew.
That's wild. And then they're sitting on the dragon, and they're sitting very close to each other on the dragon. And he's still dirty and covered in grease.
Also, like, I don't know about you, but, like, if my hair is greasy, it's, like, the most overstimulating thing on the... Like, I can't stop thinking about it until I have the chance to, like, wash my hair.
Oh, yeah, I hate it. Unless my hair is, like, up in a braid or, like, a bun when it's greasy. If it is down and greasy, I want to die.
Yeah.
So, like, for Leo to be on this quest with greasy hair, he is God's strongest soldier, to be quite honest.
Truly.
Alright, so, flying on the dragon with stinky, dirty Leo, and we've got the heat of the dragon keeping them warm, and, like, grooves in the dragon's back functioning as saddles, and we've also got safety harnesses on, so definitely nothing could go wrong, like someone falling to their death from the dragon.
I'm glad they thought of that, though.
Yes, I'm glad it is mentioned that, like...
I feel like if it was, like, Percy on this quest, they would not have thought about this. Like, no safety harness.
Yeah. Yes, if Percy was in charge of the transportation...
Like, Annabeth, yes. Percy, no.
Yeah, Percy would not have thought of seatbelts, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Or maybe there would be that little voice in the back of his head that is his mother that would be like, Percy, put on your seatbelt.
Yeah.
Alright, so on the dragon, we're sitting in a line with Leo in the front, Piper in the middle, Jason in the back. And Piper kind of wishes Jason would, like, wrap his arms around her, but of course he does not. And she also clocks, somehow, despite him sitting behind her, that he's got a photo of a dark-haired girl, and he, like, puts it away when she looks at it. And she's really nervous that this is his real girlfriend, but it's his sister, Piper. Get a hold of yourself.
Ew, yeah.
And so we're off to find the god of the north wind. So that's this first chapter. Anything else for 16?
I didn't really have any notes on this one.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a nothing chapter. The last thing I have is my silly little title that I gave it last time. So I called this one We Live Out an Episode of Dragon Tales. That was for a couple reasons. Number one, I was thinking about the spell thing that they say to get to Dragonland in Dragon Tales, and it's I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. And I was like, we're flying with dragons. It's perfect. And this was not actually part of my reasoning, but I looked up the little rhyme thing because I was like, if I quote this wrong, 3-year-old me would be so disappointed because 3-year-old me was ride or die for Dragon Tales. Like, I gotta dig up the photo of me dressed as Cassie for Halloween in the year 2001.
Aww.
Dragon Tales was my first, like, media hyperfixation. So I was like, I have to double check that I remember it right. I did remember it right. It is Fly with Dragons in the Land Apart. But in my Googling of that, I realized that the brother and sister in Dragon Tales, Max and Emmy, are Mexican. And Leo is also Mexican, so, like, parallels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah. So, do you have a better title for this chapter?
I like Dragon Tales. Very cute.
I like Dragon Tales, too. Staying true to my roots.
Yes.
From way back in 2001. That was 24 years ago.
Shut up.
You know, some people listening to this podcast were probably not even alive then.
Ugh. I just saw a TikTok. It was like one of those man on the street like interview things. It was this girl talking to these other two girls. And it's like, what like year do you guys like consider old to be born in? And they said 2001. I'm like, I'm killing myself right now.
We have one foot in the grave.
Truly.
Meanwhile, my friend today was like, oh yeah, I moved to Brooklyn in 2003 when I was 20.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
And I was like, oh, okay, so you're like a real adult.
Yeah.
Perfect. I was like, you know what I was doing in 2003? Kindergarten.
Yeah.
All right, so chapter 17, Leo chapter. Leo's feeling great. He is happy with the work that he's done and how his whole dragon reveal mostly worked out with zero torching of cabins or eating of satyrs. He does think a little bit how he didn't tell anyone about Bunker 9 or the flying ship, but he figures that he can do this when he comes back, because he's got a sick magic tool belt and a mostly fixed dragon, so what could go wrong?
Famous last words.
And so he kind of starts thinking, like, well, what if? But then he quickly cuts himself off by saying, shut up, out loud. And when Piper asks about it, he's like, well, it's been a long night and I'm maybe hallucinating. He's driving the dragon.
Like, Betty.
He's sleepless, stinky, and dirty. This is no way to start a quest.
No. You want to be, like, freshly showered, like, 8 hours of sleep, nice breakfast in your tummy. That's what you want at the beginning of a quest in an ideal world.
Yeah.
Like, what's your quest breakfast? What are you getting? I need to know, actually.
Oh, for my quest breakfast? Definitely hard-boiled eggs. That's like my number one breakfast food.
I love hard-boiled eggs. You will not see any judgment from me.
Love a hard-boiled egg. Me and Kip split a hard-boiled egg this morning. It was incredible. Not really split. It was like a 90-10 split. She just got a little bit of egg white.
That's adorable. That's so cute.
Yeah. Sharing an egg with your dragon is very Leo Valdez coded of me.
Yes.
Yeah. Hard-boiled eggs. Probably some fruit.
Nice.
Like a little berry situation.
Nice.
And maybe some yogurt. I think that would be a good quest breakfast. Some protein, some...
Yeah.
What's your quest breakfast?
So, like a couple weeks ago, I made these cottage cheese egg biscuits.
Ooh.
And I put like spinach and kale in them. They were actually very delicious and they microwaved very well because I made like a lot of them. So I'd have a couple of those and I think some like vegetarian sausage. And then I gotta do a hash brown for the carbs. I love a hash brown.
Ooh. I'm adding a hash brown to mine as well. I love a hash brown.
McDonald's hash brown? I want it. I don't care how greasy it is. I need it.
Delicious. Also, I feel like a good bacon, egg, and cheese on a everything bagel would hit.
Delicious.
Before a quest. But honestly, speaking of breakfast, no one is being set up for success on this quest except for maybe Jason. I'm not sure what his breakfast situation looked like. But Drew also sent Piper off without breakfast. Yeah. She was like, there's no need for you to come to breakfast. Bye.
Like, what the hell?
Yes, there is. Yeah. Most important meal of the day.
Come on.
Eat breakfast. Everybody's hungry. Leo's stinky, dirty, greasy. Jason knows nothing. I was gonna say Jason is stupid. He's not stupid. He's kind
of useless at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah, Jason's a little useless. Unless you need some lightning. That he can do.
Yeah, that'll be great. Information-wise, though.
Yeah, he's got nothing. So, the point of this chapter is kind of to make sure that everybody's on the same page with the plan because, we have gotten little bits of the plan from everyone, and so this is just making sure everyone's on the same page. Like, again, this is where the different POVs don't really work for me because I'm like, okay, we already know this. Can we speed it up?
Mm.
Like, can we just assume that they have had this conversation? Like, I don't know that I need to read this whole conversation, but it's fine. Here it is. Basically, Jason's like, we go find Boreas, God of the North Wind, and then we find the Venti from the Grand Canyon, and then we can figure out who they work for, and we can find Hera. Piece of cake.
Beautiful.
Surely. And also, there's possibly a wolf involved, but maybe also giants. We don't really know all those pieces. And Piper knows a little bit about the giants and says if these are the ones that she knows, then they are bad news. And they rose from the ground after the last time Kronos was defeated, and they are almost impossible to kill.
Perfect. Just what you want.
Love this for us. Leo then says, okay, so maybe this is a bad time to bring out my old babysitter. Honestly, like, his narration is incredibly funny. I gotta give him that.
Yeah. I think I enjoy reading Leo the most.
Yes.
To be honest. Like, I love Piper. I like Piper as a character more. But I think Leo's chapters are, like, the funniest and the most interesting so far.
Yeah. Leo is incredibly entertaining. Big fan of Leo. Leo kind of explains to them about Tia Kaida, but avoids all the firepower stuff. He's still being very secretive about that. He does manage to tell them about the weird dirt woman from the night that his mom died.
Mm-hmm.
And he wonders why they're even doing this, given that everyone says they shouldn't trust Hera, and also the prophecy says there will be death if her rage is unleashed. Jason says they have to, since she chose them, and they are the first of the 7 to be gathered for the Great Prophecy. He also said this is his chance to get his memory back, and ultimately Hera is the lesser of two evils here. Kind of a settle for Biden situation. Because, something worse is going to rise if they don't save Hera.
Yeah.
Piper then tells Leo to get some sleep and promises that she won't let him fall off the dragon because, quote, beautiful people never lie. Why would she say that? That's not true. I'm gorgeous and I lie all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I love lying.
Lying is so much fun.
Right. Like, okay, Piper, sure. Unless she's joking and I just didn't get it. Sometimes I miss jokes. Anyway, Leo at least is taking care of the sleepless part of the situation. There still has not been a shower.
He's still stinky as far as we know.
He is still stinky. Alright, so that's all I've got on this chapter. You got anything?
No, just like Leo's being my favorite right now. And I love the evil espresso drinks. That's so funny.
Yes. Okay, so the silly little title I gave this one last time was We Are Totally Killing This Quest, ... probably. And this was because, number one, We Are Totally Killing This Quest is a quote from the musical, and I'm never going to miss an opportunity to quote the musical. And number two, because Leo keeps being like, this is so great, unless things go terribly. So that's why the ... probably. Any ideas for a chapter title from you?
I'm just realizing that we did this last time with, like, me guessing, and I was like, why is she, like, renaming the chapter titles? And I'm like, I forgot this.
You forgot this?
Yeah.
No, that's so fair.
So I don't actually have any chapter titles for any of these.
Well, you could rename this one the Evil Espresso Drinks.
I do love that.
We are anti-evil espresso drinks or something.
We start the hunt for the evil espresso drinks, who knows?
Yeah. No, I like that. Starting the hunt for the evil espresso drinks. Alright. Chapter 18, our second Leo chapter. Piper wakes Leo up as they arrive in Quebec, and she shares that it's one of the oldest cities in North America, and then gets all defensive when Leo asks if her dad did a movie about this too. She's like, I read sometimes. And just because her mom is Aphrodite, it doesn't mean she has to be an airhead.
True.
And sometimes with Piper, we get so close to this idea that, like, Aphrodite doesn't have to mean this shallow, airheaded stereotype that, like, gets associated particularly with women, but also sometimes men who are into things that are perceived as more feminine, like makeup and romance. And we just never seem to make the connection, though, that, like, someone can be into makeup and also read. Like, you can have both. They're not mutually exclusive.
It's literally
me.
me.
Look at you. Yes.
Literally me.
You are into clothes and beauty, and you also wrote an entire thesis on the Iraq War, so...
I contain multitudes. Thank you very much.
And I wish that Piper could recognize that, like,
Yes. She's in her I'm not like other girls phase though. She's in her like I hate
I
girly girls
know.
phase.
I know. And we've all been there, and I want to extend her grace, but
It's hard to read.
it drives me nuts, I think, because I know that like young girls are reading this,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of them are in that not like the other girls phase. And like Annabeth did this too with the Rachel of it all. Like there's a lot of like 2010s girl behavior in these books.
Uh-huh.
And I wish that there wasn't. I wish that on one hand I'm like it's great that these girls are allowed to have flaws and make mistakes, but then on the other hand I'm like there are a lot of young girls that are reading these characters that I don't want to like pick up these flaws because they like these characters, you know?
Yeah.
It's a tricky balance, and I just like I don't feel like we are hitting it. Like
Yeah.
maybe you will feel differently by the end of this book and Piper's arc and all that jazz. But anyway, I will continue to get on this soapbox, so I'll put it away for now. All right, so we pull up to a big hotel castle thing, and we are met by two winged figures with swords. Festus is not a fan, and neither is Jason, who says that these look like the storm spirits. But as they get closer, they realize that these two are much more solid than the evil espresso drinks. And these guys look like regular teenagers, and they are probably brothers, but not twins. One is massive in a red hockey jersey with black eyes and missing teeth, likely appearance for a hockey player.
Mhm.
The other looks like an 80s rock star with a mullet and acne, so very different guys. And so they tell them that they don't have clearance to fly, so they're going to be destroyed. Leo asks if he can at least find out who has the honor of destroying him. And so the hockey guy says his name is Cal. His brother says his full name is Calais, I think, or Calais. Maybe if he's going by Cal, maybe the Cal is more emphasized. I don't know. I gotta say, I'm very thankful for the fact that he says, his brother can't say things more than two syllables, because otherwise I think I would have pronounced this like Calais, but that's only two syllables, so he would be able to say it, so it's got to be three. So Calais, yes, or
I
yeah.
thought it was like Calais, like the French city.
It could be that too,
That's how I read.
but that's only two syllables.
Oh yeah.
What's the truth? It would make sense for it to be Calais now that they're in Quebec and they're French,
Yeah.
but I feel like probably the Greek of it all is Calais. All right, so Cal repeats that he is Cal, and he says that his brother is Zethys. I love how Leo goes, "Wow, that was almost three whole sentences. Way to go."
I love it. I love the snark.
Like, he simply cannot not be a little
Yeah.
shit. Zethys then turns to Piper and says, "The lady can call me anything she likes," and he invites her to have dinner with him before they're destroyed.
Ew.
Ate this. Piper says this is a truly horrifying offer, and Zethys says, "No problem. We Boreads are very romantic." I'm having a bad time.
Gross.
So, Boreads are the sons of Boreas. They are his gatekeepers, and they inform the Quest trio that unless this is an emergency landing, they'll have to destroy them. Of course, Piper then says, "This is an emergency landing," because, duh. We can also assume that she is probably charm speaking here because Leo says something about her voice has him believing every word,
Mhm.
and she also adds that their dragon is malfunctioning and could crash at any minute. So Zethys eventually allows them to come in, but not without warning them that Boreas has not been very kind to visitors lately. So inside, we've got like a penthouse suite made of ice. Zethys tells Leo he'll have to deactivate the dragon because there can't be fire in their ice palace. Obvi. So Leo pulls a lever and Festus folds into a suitcase that is too heavy to lift. Big fan of this. I think it's cool. And this was what my chapter title was in regards to, and you did kind of guess this. You were like, I think Festus is going to turn into a suitcase. So good work to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Boreads, for some reason, take this as a threat, and they ask Leo if he's a son of the South Wind here to spy on them. And they also note that he smells like fire, and fire is bad. Jason says this must be a mistake because Leo isn't a fire guy. Sure. And I love that he's like, "Leo, tell them you're not a fire guy." And Leo just goes, Like, he doesn't technically lie.
Yeah.
So Jason tries to explain that Leo's just a son of Hephaestus, Piper's a daughter of Aphrodite, and he's just a son of Zeus. And when he says his name is Jason, Cal and Zethys are very interested because they knew the original Jason and were on his ship, the Argo, back in the good old days. And they also wonder if Jason could be the one that they've been watching for since he's a son of Zeus. More on that later. Leo asks if they've been watching for him in a good way or a bad way, and we are introduced to a third child of Boreas, this time a daughter, who Leo thinks is the most dazzling woman he's ever seen. She says her father will want to see Jason, but Leo cannot come, which is, of course, devastating to Leo, who has decided that he is in love with this girl. Leo, get up.
So fair, though. I see a pretty girl, I'm like, I'm in love.
I get it, but unfortunately now is not the time.
Yeah. It's not great timing.
Cal is told to stay behind with Leo, and Jason and Piper kind of give him a look to see if they should fight this or not, and he's really grateful, but ultimately he tells him to go ahead, he'll be fine. It's not worth causing trouble. The girl says, Leo will be totally fine, but the same cannot be said for the son of Zeus, and then goes to lead Jason and Piper to Boreas. Alright, so my silly chapter title I gave this one, I called this Leo Creates the World's Heaviest Luggage, because I couldn't really think of anything else. And sometimes Rick's titles are just based on one silly thing that happens in the chapter, so I was like, well, this is fine. Another one I was kind of workshopping was Everyone Gets Flirted With But Leo, but, you know, the princess doesn't really flirt with Jason yet. So, I don't know. I don't have a great chapter title for this one.
Well, suitcase reminds me of what is it, Iron Man 2? When he has, like, the suit in the actual suitcase.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
it reminds me of.
We could call this chapter, like, Leo does a Tony
Yeah.
Stark or something.
I like it.
I like that. No, that's good. So chapter 19, good old Jason, back again. His chapters are, like, without a doubt the most boring to read. Sorry to the Jason lovers out there. I know Jason has fans.
We are not two of them.
Unfortunately not. I'll give the caveat, at least not in this book. At this moment, I am not boring. Jason's biggest fan. So, Jason and Piper are kind of taking an icy staircase towards Boreas. Jason looks at the Ice Princess and Zethys and wonders if he really wants to meet their dad, and he worries that he might be leading his friends into a trap. So he then takes Piper's hand for reassurance. He's doing a really great job not leading her on. And when the Ice Princess notices, she freezes their hands and tells them that warmth is not a good idea here. Hate this. What does she have against love? Against hand-holding? So as they walk, Jason does some thinking about how confused he is. He thinks about Thalia and how weird it is to have this sister who's out there somewhere that he has no way of finding. And he also thinks about how Annabeth had been totally shocked when Jason said that she was his sister, as if, you know, Thalia had never spoken about him. So he wonders how they got separated and if Thalia even knows that he exists. And then Jason gets kind of pissed. He thinks about how Hera stole his life and his memories and now expects him to just come and save her. And he really wants to just leave her there, but knows he can't because he needs answers. And then he gets distracted by Piper. These boys.
One brain cell, and they're sharing it.
They give the brain cell to the other one each time that they start simping over a girl.
Yeah, only to look at girls. That's what they use the brain cell for.
Is this how teenage boys think, like, actually?
Yeah, really.
I mean, I guess I'm trying to compare this to, like, how often Percy thought about Annabeth. And in The Last Olympian, he was thinking about Annabeth a lot, but he also was, like, he was pretty focused on the end goal.
Right.
But I guess it's a little bit different because he knew he had to get to the end goal if he wanted to get Annabeth, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was kind of we have feelings for each other, and we both sort of kind of know that, but we're not going to do anything about it until this is all over.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of if we're both alive in a couple days, then we'll talk. So I really just think that that's what Jason and Piper need to do. They need to just be like, hey, there's this weird stuff going on. We need to just put it aside, and then if we're both alive at the end of this quest, and you get your memories back, and we can maybe start something, like, we'll do it then.
Yeah.
But perhaps that's a little too much maturity to be expecting from two 15-year-olds.
Maybe. But they are kind of interested in saving the world, so they gotta be a little mature.
Right.
Ideally.
And, you know, to give Jason some credit, he does then tell himself, like, he's got to stop that. You know, he can't start something with Piper when he's got no idea who might be waiting for him in his old life. And he's also pretty sure that his past doesn't mix well with Camp Half-Blood.
Mm.
So then they make it to the throne room, and the princess tells him to be on his best behavior because her father can be chilly. And she means that both literally and figuratively. Figuratively is not the right word. Is it?
No, I think you're right.
Is it? Okay. Never mind. So she says she'll translate, and she'll encourage him to hear Jason out. And she also says she hopes that Jason is spared because they could have such fun together.
She kind of creeps me out a little bit.
Like, leave him alone, please. It's always a little bit weird when, like, an immortal goddess is into a child, to me.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Like, Zethi's being all into Piper and her being all into Jason. I'm like, leave them alone, please.
Like, they may be demigods, but they do age and they are still children. Back it up. Back it up.
Right. Stay away. All right, so Piper finally asks for her name, and her name is Keone, which I think is how you say that. She is the goddess of snow, and she makes a little blizzard to demonstrate. Very let it go of her. And then it's finally time for us to go in, and that's the end of our chapter. You know, one thing about these chapters is they move pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right, and so my silly little chapter title for this one was Jason doesn't have the answers, parentheses, shocker. I feel good about that one.
Yeah.
I think that's accurate and good, because he's got no clue what's happening.
I kind of want to do something with Frozen. Couldn't do this for copyright, but I'd be like Jason and Piper meet Elsa or something like that. I think that would be funny.
Jason and Piper, let it go.
Yeah.
Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. The cold never bothered us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's the title. Anything else about 19?
Other than seeming like Jason and the Ice Princess have a weird history that we might not know about? Question mark. I'm interested to learn more.
That's a very good point. She's got a very interesting. So there's a vibe. There's a vibe.
There's something there, yeah.
All right. So chapter 20 is another Jason chapter. So the throne room is even colder than the rest of the place. And there are also a bunch of ice sculptures of warriors that turn out to be actual warriors that can move because they use their javelins to block Jason and Piper's path. They do end up letting them pass because Boreas tells the ice dudes not to kill them yet, so that's good. And to kind of ease the tension here, Zethys calls Jason Jason Jr., which he hates. And he also notes that Piper is losing her magic hairdo very quickly and offers to lend her some hair products from his own assortment. Like, I appreciate him being here for the comic relief, but also leave Piper alone.
Yeah.
So then we finally get a glimpse of Boreas, and he is in a white suit with purple wings, and his hair and beard are full of icicles. It's kind of a vibe.
I kind of like it. Yeah.
And so he greets them in French, and Keone goes to translate, but Piper gets there first and introduces them. Then we get a classic, like, whoa, Piper, you speak French? No, I don't. Why? And this seems to delight Boreas, who tells them that since Piper is the daughter of Aphrodite, she can naturally speak French because it is the language of love.
I love it so much.
Oh, it's incredible. So now Keone won't have to translate, which is good, because I do not trust her to translate correctly, especially with how annoyed she seems at the revelation that Piper can speak French. So, is there a language that you would want to just automatically know?
Oh, French. I'm trying to teach myself French right now. Like, I would say Spanish, but, like, I already kind of know Spanish, so I'm good.
Wow, once again, you're not beating the daughter of Aphrodite allegations.
You know, I try.
I would probably pick Spanish. I feel like Spanish would be the most useful to me.
I think Arabic would be cool.
It would.
Anything that's like a different character system, I think. Just because, like...
Yeah, I think if you could just automatically know it, that would be really nice because,
learning that.
Getting the different letters, I think, would blow my mind a little bit. Also, I was thinking it's a little bit unfair that Aphrodite gets this really cool power that none of the other cabins seem to get. But then I remembered that Percy can magically speak horse. So it's basically the same.
Yeah.
But so then it got me thinking, like, what other cabins could have languages that they would just automatically know? And so I was thinking, like, it would maybe make sense for Athena to just kind of know Latin, because there's a lot of, like, academic texts that are in Latin, like some of the older stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe for, like, Hephaestus just automatically knowing, like, coding languages? I don't know.
Cool, yeah.
And then I was thinking it would be kind of cool, since Hermes is the god of travel, like, if his kids are traveling, they can just kind of automatically understand the language of wherever they are. That would be cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
But then, also with the, like, speaking horse of it all, maybe the children of the gods can speak to their parents like sacred animals?
Okay.
Can the Athena kids speak to the owls?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can the Dionysus kids speak to jaguars? Or leopards? Is it leopards or jaguars? I think it's leopard?
You are asking the wrong girl.
Oh gosh, what is Seymour? Is he a leopard?
He's a leopard.
Yeah, he's a leopard. Anyway, so Jason asks why a Greek god would speak French. And, along that same line of questioning, why do the Greek gods speak English? And then Piper kind of answers both of these questions after a quick exchange with Boreas, because he says that the gods simply speak the language of their host country. Makes sense. And then the king informs them that he has orders to kill them. And Keane's like, haha, didn't I mention that?
Kind of a bitch.
Just a little. And now I'm thinking of the line from Legally Blonde that's like, when I dress up as a frigid bitch, I try not to look so constipated. Because that's what she is. Like, she is quite literally a frigid bitch. Okay. Anyway, so he's got orders to kill them. Great. Apparently, Aeolus has commanded that, he kills any demigods. And I always read this name like Aeolius, because, I love a good aioli.
Areolas.
That too. It's a lot of things. But I freaking love mayonnaise, so I love a good aioli. I don't know if you could tell that from the delight that I get from hard-boiled eggs. I feel like mayonnaise and hard-boiled eggs are in the same, like, egg-related family, Like, an egg salad is really just egg, more egg.
Oh, I love egg salad.
I love an egg salad. So Boreas then switches to English to make everything easier for all of us. And I'm kind of wondering a little bit, what does the French translation of this book read like? Like, imagine, okay, I'm reading this in French, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Piper, you can speak French? When, like, to you, she's been speaking French this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone has read this book in French, let me know what this experience was like. I don't know if we have any French listeners, but... So, Boreas says that his master, Aeolus, would not expect him to kill a son of Zeus without hearing him out, so he lets him speak. Jason asks why Aeolus would want them dead. Boreas says that demigods cause too much chaos. They're always unleashing winds and causing chaos. And this, reminds me of when Percy accidentally opened the wind thermos all the way in Sea of Monsters and, like, released all the winds. So I really bet that Aeolus hates him in particular. And Boreas also says that the battle with Typhon last summer was the final straw because his death released a bunch of storm spirits. And just to point out, guess who exploded Mount St. Helens and kind of started the process of releasing Typhon. So I really do believe that Aeolus does not have beef with demigods in general. He has beef with one specific demigod, and that is Percy Jackson.
Yes, for sure.
So, basically, the last time Typhon was defeated, it took Aeolus centuries to track down all of the rogue storm spirits, so he's not too thrilled that Typhon has been defeated again. And Piper points out that this kind of had to happen because Typhon was going to destroy Olympus, and Boreas says that Aeolus cannot take his frustration out on the gods, since they are more powerful than him and they are technically his boss, and so he instead takes it out on demigods. Classic bully behavior. We are just continuing the cycles of abuse. Like, your bosses take it out on you, and then you take it out on the demigods. Like, poor demigods. They really have it rough. But luckily, Aeolus has warned Boreas that a son of Zeus would seek his aid, and when that happens, he should listen before destroying him, because he may make all of their lives very interesting. And then things get a little weird, because Boreas says that there are many ways that Jason could make their lives interesting, like perhaps as a frozen ice sculpture. And then Keane grabs his neck and says her father gives her such lovely presents and tells Jason to join her court and maybe she'll let his friends go.
Very creepy.
Stop touching him. You don't know him like that.
Did not enjoy that at all.
No. And the neck is such a weird place to grab someone.
Yeah.
I
hated it.
No, absolutely not. Zethys then says this isn't fair, and Keane always gets more presents, and if she gets Jason, then he should get Piper. And, like, again, hate this, no one should be getting anyone.
They're children.
Please, no. Then Keane strokes Jason's neck yet again, and he has a very valid reaction, and sort of accidentally shocks her and sends her flying. Zethys very much enjoys this, even though he says it means he has to kill Jason now. Jason says that nobody will be killing them because they are on a quest for Hera, and unless they want her after them, they have to let Jason and company go. Boreas is intrigued by this because it's not every day that a son of Zeus is favored by Hera. In fact, it is never, because she is known to hate the products of her husband's affairs. Again, people take things out on demigods because they cannot take things out on Zeus.
Right.
So Boreas asks Jason to tell his story. And Jason kind of freezes up. He's like, I have no idea what to say. I was not expecting to get a chance to talk. Like, I don't know what to do here. So Piper steps in and starts telling the whole story, starting with the Grand Canyon. You know, she kind of runs through all previous 19 chapters. We don't have to read it all again. It just kind of says, like, she tells him everything. This is what I'm looking for in the POV switches. I'm like, we don't need to rehash everything. She says that all they need is guidance to help find the storm spirits that attacked them. Boreas says he knows where they are, and also where the prisoner that they took is, so Coach Hedge is probably alive. Great news.
Yes.
But he says it would be madness to oppose the one who controls the storm spirit, which is not good. Jason then insists that Hera is in trouble, and in 3 days, she's going to be destroyed and a giant's going to rise. Boreas says, yeah, a lot of horrible things are waking, and he seems kind of annoyed that his children haven't been telling him news. So it almost seems like this is the first he's hearing about this.
Yeah.
He mentions this great stirring of monsters that began with Kronos, and how Zeus sort of believed that it would end when the Titans were defeated. But, you know, just as happened last time, there's more to come. So the storm spirits are apparently only the beginning, and the Earth has many more horrors to release.
That's what we want.
Just what we want. So when monsters no longer stay in Tartarus, and souls are no longer confined to Hades, Olympus has good reasons to fear. This sounds great. Jason looks at him after all this and is like, okay, so you'll help us. And Boreas is like, well, I didn't say that. Piper then steps up, and then Jason starts talking about, you know, how beautiful Piper is. He's like, you know, she has to be so scared right now, but she looks so beautiful and confident, and it has nothing to do with the blessing, because, like, the blessing is gone now. Like, she's back in her traveling clothes, her choppy hair, but she is glowing with warmth in the throne room. Jason needs to calm down once again.
Yeah.
So she says, if you tell us where the storm spirits are, we'll capture them, we'll bring them to Aeolus, and then you will look good in front of him. We get what we want, you get what you want, everyone wins. Zethus agrees. He says, she's pretty. I mean, she's right. And then Keane says, oh, she dares to charm speak a god? Kill her now. Boreas is kind of like considering what to do, and he catches sight of Jason's tattoo and asks, what's on your forearm? And so he shows Boreas his marks. Boreas, his eyes widen. Keane, like, hisses and steps away. And then Boreas laughs, and his form begins to change. His beard disappears, he gets taller, thinner, his clothes change into a toga that's lined with purple, and now he's got like a frosty laurel wreath on, and a gladius, which is like a Roman sword like Jason's. Jason then calls him Aquilon, I think, which is apparently the Roman name for Boreas. The god says, you recognize me better like this, but yet you say you came from Camp Half-Blood, and Hera sent you there. And then all of a sudden it clicks for him, and he's like, oh, Hera is playing a dangerous game. It's bold, but it's dangerous. He's like, it's no wonder Olympus is closed, like they must be trembling at this like gamble that Hera has taken. And Piper's like, Jason, what is going on? And Jason's like, this is his Roman form, but what? And the god's like, oh, I'm sure you don't know what's going on, but this is going to be very fun to watch. Then he agrees to let them go, because there's no reason for him to kill Jason, because if Hera's plan fails, and he very much thinks it will, they're going to tear each other apart, and Aeolus will never have to worry about demigods again. So a lot is happening, and none of it good. Jason has this, like, kind of cold feeling. He says it feels like Keane's fingers are back on his neck, but it's just the feeling that Boreas is right. He's like, oh, Boreas knows what Chiron meant about, like, me not supposed to be here, and, like, this, like, wrongness that I felt about camp. Like, he knows what this means. But he refuses to explain, because he says it is not his place to interfere with Hera's plan, but he says it is no wonder that Hera took his memory. So Boreas kind of sees this as a chance to be a part of things in a way that he doesn't usually get to be. He's like, it's not often that I get to be important. And, you know, so rarely do I get to have any amusements. Like, this is fun for me. So he's like, yes, I will let you go on this quest. So you should go to the Windy City, aka Chicago, and if you can capture the winds, you might be able to take them to Aeolus, and if somehow you succeed, tell him that you captured these winds because I told you to. So Jason's like, all right, great. Chicago, that's where we're going to find this lady who's controlling the winds, like the one that trapped Hera. And Boreas says, those are two different questions, son of Jupiter. Boreas says, yes, you will find the one who controls the winds in Chicago, but she is only a servant, but she is still very likely to destroy you. So, great. So once you succeed against her and you take the wins, then you can go to Aeolus, and then all secrets apparently come to Aeolus. If anyone can tell you where Hera's imprisoned, it's him. And then Boreas tells them to go before he changes his mind. Back in the entry hall, we meet it back up with Cal and Leo. And Leo finally gets his shower, which is huge. His clothes get washed. Festus is back as a dragon. And as Keone is walking down the stairs, Jason notices how Leo is looking at her. And he's like, oh no. And kind of makes a mental note to tell Leo, like, knock it off. You don't want anything to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the stairs, Kenny turns to Piper and says, you might have fooled my father, but you didn't fool me. We are not done. And you, Jason Grace, you will be a statue in my throne room soon enough. And Jason says, yeah, your dad is right. You're just a spoiled kid. See you around, Ice Princess. Zethys warns him that this was not very smart. She never forgets an insult. And Jason's like, she's the goddess of snow. What's she gonna do? Throw snowballs at us? But he kind of knows, like, that's not the worst that she can do. And Leo's like, guys, what did you do? Is she mad at me too? Like, she's supposed to be my prom date.
Leo, focus, baby. Come on.
Like, this is number one. Where does Leo think he's gonna go to prom?
Camp Half-Blood does not have a prom. I find that very hard to believe. Would be very cute, though.
It would be cute. I could see Aphrodite throwing a prom.
Yeah.
Imagine Leo rolling up to prom with a goddess. Baller move.
Leo could pull a goddess, I think.
Leo could absolutely pull a goddess.
He has Riz.
Yeah, he does. He's got that kind of like pathetic jokester boy riz, and it works. It works.
Mm-hmm. Girls like that. Yeah.
All the ladies love Leo. So Piper says that they'll explain to Leo what happened in the throne room, but she very clearly doesn't understand what happened there because Jason kind of realizes that she expects him to give the explanation. Jason then realizes he's not really sure what happened up there because Boreas had changed into his Roman form, and I don't love the way it says that Jason's presence caused him to go schizophrenic. I don't think that's the best way to describe this, but this is one of those things that you kind of have to say 2010s and move on from, I think. And so Jason's kind of upset that upon learning that he was sent to Camp Half-Blood, this like amused the god. He doesn't like feeling like he's about to have to be part of a dog fight that this god is just placing a bet on. So Jason agrees with Piper. He's like, yeah, we'll explain Leo later. And then Zethys says, be careful, pretty girl.
Ew.
And he says that the winds between here and Chicago are bad-tempered, and many evil things are stirring. And he says that she would make a lovely ice statue in which he could check his reflection. What a guy. Piper says, yeah, I'd rather play ice hockey with Cal. And then she says, like, but the storm winds aren't our worst problem, are they? And Zethys says, oh no, there's something worse. Piper tries to charm speak and asks them to tell her, but it doesn't work, and they tell her to ask Aeolus. Now it's time to go. Cal tells Leo, don't get destroyed, which is kind of the nicest thing that any of the Boreads have said to them, so love that. And he says, next time, hockey, pizza. So I do appreciate that Leo and Cal kind of became friends. I think that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as they're about to take off, Jason kind of says, all right, come on, guys. Time to go to Chicago and try not to get destroyed. And that is the end of chapter 20.
We did it.
There was kind of a lot of lore teased and dropped there, but not a whole lot of answers given. So any thoughts on what happened between Boreas and Jason?
Kind of interested to see how the whole like switching to like Roman stuff is still very intriguing to me, and I want to know why they keep doing it.
Very interesting.
Also, I want to know, was Piper speaking with a French accent or a Quebec accent? I need to know.
Ooh.
Because they are very different, and like French people, I've heard, of course. So maybe some French people are not like this, but French people sometimes look down on the French Canadian accent and say it's not real French.
Ooh. Yeah, I wonder which one Boreas was using. I mean, I would assume like French Canadian. It's an interesting thought. All right, so my silly little chapter title for this one, I just said we try diplomacy because they did try. But then things got weird, and it was very much an unmatched discussion. Like, Boreas slash Achillon, or whatever his Roman name is, and however you pronounce it, like, obviously knows a lot more than Jason and was kind of toying with him, and that was a bummer. So we tried, but we also managed to kind of piss off Keane, and like, not a great diplomatic mission.
Not great.
In my opinion. Other thoughts for a chapter title for this one? There's just a lot.
A lot happened, yeah.
It's just a very long chapter.
Yeah, this one was quite long.
I would like to come up with some joke about, like, the Roman Empire, you know?
Mm-hmm.
About, like, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Just because, like, he became Roman, but
Yeah.
I can't.
It's not coming.
It's not. No. Could also, that one sound that someone made in regards to Elon Musk's quote-unquote Roman salute. That's like, he's not Roman. The bitch not from Rome. We're not in Rome. It's not Roman. Like, have you heard that? That's kind of this chapter. It's like,
yeah. What are we doing?
Roman? Why? What? What are we doing? Something about that. Okay, so I do have chapter titles for the next 4, because we have 21 through 24 for next time. So 21 is a Piper chapter, and I have titled this one, The Sky is Full of Magic Hedgehogs.
I'm gonna say the wind spirits look like hedgehogs. I don't know. I'm locking it.
22, also a Piper chapter. And I have titled this one, Identity Theft is Not a Joke, Gem. Millions of families suffer each year. Just to finish the quote.
I hope that they steal someone's wallet or something while they're in Chicago. Like a real, like, pickpocket type street crime.
Likely thing to happen in Chicago.
Yeah.
23 is a Leo chapter, and I've titled this one, The Toilet Speaks to Leo.
I really don't know what to say. Is that like an invention thing? Like it's an invention so he can speak to things? Or I'd like to think Leo got really sick. He ate a bad Chicago dog. And he had like deep dish pizza, because deep dish pizza is disgusting. And he's speaking directly to the toilet.
I love that. It's incredible.
Mhm.
And then 24, also a Leo chapter. And I'm calling this one The Claw. A la the little green alien guys from Toy Story.
So I have not seen Toy Story in forever. So this clue is not giving me anything. Do they meet like minions? Are they like minions? Those little alien things? Would you call them like minions?
Honestly, kind of Minions before Minions.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
Like I want them. They meet minions on this trip. That's the thing that's worse than the wind spirits that they were talking about. It's minions. That's what
You cracked it. It's Minions.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing final thoughts here?
No, I'm glad we're getting into the quest action, though. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how it goes.
There is some good quest action.
There's a lot of build-up.
I know. There's so many camp chapters. So many camp chapters. It's like we're at lightning thief levels of camp chapters.
Yeah.
But I get it. You know, you got to introduce 3 new people to camp, so it's fine. Yes, more quests to come. All right, so we will be back next time with chapters 21 through 24. And Minions, probably. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Hi, you can find us on social media at DemigodDebutPod. You can also find the links to all of our socials in the episode description. If you enjoy consuming this podcast, please consider leaving us a rating or review wherever it is you are listening. See you next time. Bye!